Good day. This is Pepita Boss. I'm a BBA student from 1985, Dutch, living in Spain. And today, for the first time, we're going to do an interview in English. And we're talking to Maria Loreto Scaff Fuenzalida. Gosh, that's a beautiful long name. And she's in Denmark. So how should I call you? What should I call you? What name do you prefer?
You can call me Loreto. That will be okay.
Loreto. Isn't that Loreto? It's like most Spanish names for girls end in an A. Why does it end in an O?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Actually, people used to think that I'm a man with I just put on an email like best regards Loreto. But I don't know. There are a few cases of woman names that finish with O, but yeah,
Okay.
sometimes confusing. Yeah. I know.
I was like, yeah, the first time I was like, his last name, first name, guy's name. Okay. So you are originally from Chile and you're living in Denmark now. So how did you end up there?
It's because of my husband's job. So we were both living in the Netherlands and then he got a job in Denmark. So we moved here some time ago.
Yeah. So, yes. And you met your husband at Nijrode. He's Turkish. I can imagine Turkish, Chilean, quite a bit of difference in cultural background. How does that work? Are there funny things or irritating things that you come across?
Well, yeah, of course there are some differences, but I must tell you that it's not as different as, for example, when you compare Chilean cultures with the Dutch culture. We have many things in common, how you behave with others, how is your daily life with your family, with your closest relatives. So in that sense, it's not that different. I would say the main difference comes, like, for example, with religion and these kind of things. But as long as you really respect what the other thinks and the other follows, it's totally fine. Of course, sometimes we have moments where you say, but everything can be solved.
Yeah. Are there things that you find really surprising? It's like, really? You do that this way? Or, you know, even within Holland, within the town I'm from, people do things differently. And that can be totally like, huh? Just small things, how people eat, for instance, meat separate from their vegetables. And I'm just, and their potatoes. I'm just like, really? You know, just tiny difference that just kind of like dumbfound you.
Yeah, of course there are several. So one of the first shocks I have when we started kind of dating is that in Turkey they like to eat pasta with yogurt. So they cook pasta like meat or vegetables, and then they put yogurt on top of it. And then I was like,
okay.
But now I love it. Now I cannot eat pasta without yogurt. I mean, it's part of my life also. Or they also cook with a lot of olive oil, which I love olive oil, but for me, it's just too much what they do, but I guess it's the Mediterranean influence that they have. So yeah, we have all the time, we have those small things that, but you learn, that is good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look up a recipe for pasta with yogurt. That sounds kind of interesting.
You won't regret, I promise to you.
Oh, it was interesting. In the interview, being from Chile, you said, you know, when I was in Chile, I would orient myself where I was by, you know, looking where the Andes Mountains were. And I visited Chile, so it's a beautiful country. And, you know, there's mountains everywhere. And then you came to Holland. And, you know, I thought that was very funny because how does that work when there's no, you know, when Holland is just flat? Denmark, I'm assuming, is pretty flat as well. So how did you not get lost?
Well, it doesn't work when you don't have the Andes mountain, to be honest. At the very beginning, I was quite lost. So if you put me in Amsterdam, I will be, it won't be easy for me to get orientated. Because when you have the Andes mountain, you know that it's always that direction is the east, and then you're fine. But yeah, in Holland was a bit difficult. So you just got to learn, I mean, other of getting there.
And Amsterdam is quite hard to learn. I lived in Amsterdam, but because it's round and you're kind of like, okay, I'm in this part, and then you're in another part next, and then it could take a year to find out that these parts are actually right next to each other. But so you got lost quite often when you were in Holland.
Well, normally I wasn't alone. Normally I was with more people. So then always there will be somebody who is better than me at getting orientated and knowing where we were and we have to move to. So so I didn't really get lost, but thanks to others, not to my own skills.
Mhm. No, but I remember this when I thought about it. It's like, yeah, when I was in Chile, it would just never occur to me to use the mountains as a frame of reference for where I was, because it's something I cannot use, or I have never been able to use in the Netherlands. So I thought it was, gosh, that's interesting how geography kind of influences
Absolutely.
influences you. You also said that Chile is not a multicultural country, and so you didn't get to interact with a lot of different nationalities on a daily basis, and that when you went to Holland, that was a big change for you.
Mm.
And I had always thought, mistakenly, obviously, that Chile was a bit of a melting pot like the USA or Brazil, and that it would attract lots of other nationalities. But it doesn't. Why is that? Is it too far on the edge of the world, or because it's a beautiful country?
It is indeed. It is a super beautiful country. And I think that one of the main issues I'm guessing we have is that in general people don't speak English in Chile. So if you're a foreign and you don't speak Spanish, it's quite difficult to get there to live. I mean, for holidays, of course, we have many people coming from like everywhere. But like to live there, you really need to speak Spanish. Otherwise, getting a job is not that easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I looked it up because I was curious about it, and it says, well, in the last couple of years there have been more immigrants, but they're mostly from South America, where they speak Spanish as well. But your last name, one of your last names, Scaff, doesn't sound very Spanish.
No, actually, it's from Lebanon. So
Lebanon.
the family from my dad's side is from Lebanon. My dad was born in Chile, but my granddad, he was born in Lebanon, and my grandmom, she was born on the way from Lebanon to Chile. Actually, she was born in Brazil, but I mean, of course, she has nothing to do with Brazil. So, and Lebanese. So I'm half.
Okay, so you are a mix of cultures yourself. Is that I used to live in the United States, and there a lot of people I always found very interesting. If you would meet them and you would introduce yourself, you say like, "Okay, I'm Dutch," and that they'd be very interested, and they would always say like, "Oh, I'm part Irish, or I'm part Scottish, or I'm part German, Swedish, Indian, Native," you know. Is that a big thing in Chile as well, to express what your background is, or is that not important?
No, I would say no, not really. When you are pure from somewhere else, yes, probably you will say it from, but otherwise, no.
I don't know. How interesting, because it's like in America, it's such a thing to say what your background, and obviously, I think I read about Chile that it's like 52% is of European descent, but that obviously doesn't count anymore.
No, because sometimes it's many generations back. So we do have many in the south of Chile, many German people or people living there with some German roots. Like, for example, in Argentina, they have some people with Italian roots, but that doesn't make them feel German, to be honest. So I do have friends who are more like blonde hair and green or blue eyes with German names, but they live like Chilean and they feel that they are Chilean.
Okay. So you also said that you were about the differences between Holland and Denmark and Chile, that you were surprised that you had to bring your own birthday cake to work. that was such a logical thing, to bring your own birthday cake to work. That's like, why is that odd? And then you said, well, in Chile your colleagues do that. So how did you find out?
Well, when I moved to the Netherlands, I was the first thing was I was doing the international MBA, right? So it wasn't that clear. But then I started working in the Netherlands, and then yes, people they had to bring their own cakes for when it was their birthday, and I was like, well, it's your birthday. I mean, you shouldn't be worried about your cake. I mean, somebody else should take care of it. and surprise you. Of course, at some point it's not a surprise anymore because you know that the cake will be there.
Yeah.
But so it was just strange.
Yeah.
Because Denmark is the same.
Yeah, that is to me, I think, is fascinating about, meet people from other cultures. That's something that is just so trivial and so normal for me could be such a surprise to you. And then when you think about it, it's like, yeah, why don't they treat me? Why should I
Yes,
bring the cake? Let them bring the cake. It's my birthday. No,
exactly.
but from a young age, even like in kindergarten, the person whose birthday it is brings treats to the school. So it's not,
Oh,
the school was, it's from like if you're 4 and you go to kindergarten and it's your birthday, you bring treats to give the other kids. So it's kind of it's my birthday and I'm going to give a treat to you. So but to me, it's so logical, but logical from its normal point of view. I mean, it makes perfect sense to do it the other way around.
no, but that is right, because in kindergartens in Chile, if parents want to celebrate the birthday of the kid in the kindergarten, parents will also bring the candies or like snacks, and then they will also bring it's just at work. Because of course, if you invite people over for your birthday, you will have the cake.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah.
just in the office.
Yeah. I always thought it was really funny. So you say like, okay, if you'd have to choose between Chileans, Dutch, Danish, you think obviously that your fellow countrymen are the most fun to be with, and you said, well, it might have to do with not being able to understand the Dutch or Danish sense of humor. How is that different in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think that the jokes here or in the Netherlands are not really funny. I mean, I don't see the funny side of it, so I don't feel like. But I
Uh-huh.
mean, I'm totally aware that that is something with me that I'm not able to understand the sense of humor of
Is it?
you guys, and probably will be the same the other way around.
Maybe it's a language thing. I was an exchange student to the United States, and then someone said I was watching a TV show, which was a comedy. Maybe you've heard about it. It's very old. It's MASH, about these American soldiers in, what is it? Korea, I think. And I was laughing at the jokes, and someone said, if you get the joke, then then you understand the language. And I can imagine if a Dutch people would have to make jokes in English, it probably just wouldn't come across. Or maybe we're just bad joke makers. But we can throw some fun. We can throw some fun parties though, like the Dutch.
Sure.
Have you been to the Dutch Queen's birthday or now the King's birthday?
Yeah,
Have you
sure.
been like those celebrations? Yeah, those are big. You said, which I totally recognize. I thought it was so funny. That you really like Dutch markets. You went to the market in Brooklyn when you lived there. When you lived in
Yes.
Leiden, you went to the market there. And whenever I go to Holland, I have to admit, I try to plan it so that I'm there for the Saturday, so I can visit the market in the town where I was born and grew up. So, are there no markets like that in Chile, or is it different?
There are, but they are not that common. So they will be normally in very specific areas of the city, and they mainly sell vegetables. And so it's not really a place where you will go to get some fresh bread, for example, or different types of cheese or seafood. So it's not the same. It's a different concept.
Okay. So, do you have it in Denmark, or do they have markets like that?
Not really. There's one market, but it's a very high-end market, which is there every single day. So it's not something that. So it's not the market concept that we have in the Netherlands. And we have close to our house. We have a very small market, but it's like with 5 or 6 small tables for people selling like honey, cheese, bread, and sausages probably.
Okay.
That's it. So it's not the same. So we really miss it.
Oh, what a miss. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So If you said before that, there's lots of tourists coming to Chile. I traveled through Chile in the summer of Chile, which but we went south, so it was not that warm. What, if you would advise people to go on a trip to Chile, what would be your top advice to go? Which place, which spot, which city?
Well, the shape of my country is a very interesting one. We have 4,500 kilometers of like the coast of Chile, right? So with all those kilometers, you can really find different things. So where you find deserts and a very, very warm weather to the very south of Chile, where you can almost be in the Antarctic. It will really depend on what you like. But as a overall, you will always reach Chile in Santiago because it's the only international airport that we have in the capital. So it's worth to spend some days in Santiago. It's a very pretty city. It's a very interesting one. It's a capital, so I think it's always give you a good idea of the country. And then there are some very beautiful parts in the south of Chile, like in Patagonia and Torres del Paine, where you can do trekking, and it's a lot of contact with the natural environment. And then in the north, you have some other interesting areas called San Pedro de Atacama, for example, where it's more about desert and going up to the mountains and seeing different. It's like very, very different landscape. Of course, you have beach all along Chile, and if you like to ski, for example, we have very, very good ski centers during the winter, which will be summer in Europe, right? So yeah, there are many places to go.
Well, we traveled from Santiago to Patagonia, and actually we were at Lago Grey. And we were like, you're camping. We're really dirty and smelly because it was cold, and we're like, ooh. And so we're sitting in a restaurant having lunch, and everyone's really excited about the people who are sitting behind me. And I was, I couldn't just kind of turn around and say, like, who is this? Turned out it was the president of Chile. He was visiting the Lago Grey, and I just felt sorry for him for having to smell us with our camping.
When was that?
Oh gosh, this is a long time ago.
Okay.
14, 15 years, something like that.
Did you like it? Did you enjoy?
Oh, I loved it. Torres del Paine, when I first saw it, I was just like, wow, it was so beautiful. It's go. People go. It's absolutely gorgeous. Chile is a gorgeous country. The only thing is you have to go down, and then you have to go up again because it's narrow. And if you go to the east or to the west, you very often have to go the same road back. But it's a beautiful country, beautiful wines, beautiful deserts, beautiful everything. So one of the most beautiful countries in the world. So
thank you very much. I'm glad you like it.
I really did. Okay, so one last question. 70 years of Nine Road. Are you going to be there in September? Will people be able to meet you live?
We would like with my husband to join. We are still in the planning stage, but we are not sure, to be honest. But it's something very important for us. It's very meaningful. In Nine Road, it is super important for us, not only because we have an MBA from Nine Road, but also because we met there. So on a professional point of view and a private point of view, Nine Road means a lot for us. So we will do our best to be there. I can't promise it yet, but we will try.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll meet in person then. Thank you for your time. Viewers, please read the full article in the magazine, and hopefully we see you at Nine Road on September 10th. Thank you very much, Loreto.
Thank you very much, Pepita. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.